Coming up on this edition of Command Center, Coach Commands with Ron Rivera.
I just don't understand how 5.5 hours of football can lead in a tie.
It's a weird feeling.
It's a little weird, honestly.
Wasn't quite sure what to say.
It wasn't how we wanted the last game before the bye week to end, but it wasn't a loss. I'll talk with Coach about the tie and how he's handling the bye week. The defense showed up again for the Commanders. What adjustments were made at halftime, and how were they able to contain the Giants' offense? Coach breaks it down. And we have 4 games left on the schedule as the team makes a push for the playoffs. We'll look ahead with the head coach, and it all starts now. Command Center, Coach Commands with Ron Rivera is presented by your local Honda dealer. This holiday season, start making memories with a new Honda. And during Happy Honda Days, find the perfect Honda for you. Don't wait. Visit your local Honda dealer today.
We're going to learn about ourselves. We're going to get a chance to watch this tape, grow from this stuff, and get better and get ready. But most importantly, guys, you're going to have a week, okay? What you got to do during that time is take care of you. Take care of you. Get yourselves ready to go. Because we got to stretch where we play. 3 of our last 4 games are at home. Okay, we can defend what is ours and we can set the tone going into the playoffs. Okay, if we do this right, if we focus in on us, don't get selfish. Okay, this is about us. Take care of yourselves for us, to help us. We have a great chance. We have something that we've worked for. Okay, people didn't believe in this, and like I said last night, thank you guys. Thank you for trusting in us. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for coming together and being the team that I believe you guys can be. Let's get ourselves ready. Let's be smart about this. And again, let's be complimentary to these guys because we play these guys in 2 weeks.
And welcome on in. Julie Donaldson here with head coach Ron Rivera. And of course, Logan Paulsen is standing by to go over some of the game tape. But although I think Logan's already on his bye week, coach, he's ready for it. We always look forward to those segments. Very informative as well. But speaking of the bye week, I think Logan's already half checked out. For you, what does it mean?
Well, it means an opportunity to first do a little self-evaluation, go through some of the stuff that we've been working on, see exactly where we are. This is kind of like a second opportunity for us after our Thursday night game. We had a little bit of time as coaches to take a look at some of the things that we've done. And, this is a good opportunity, though, for our players to get away and get a little bit of a break.
Is it more difficult to do, or is it better for you to do this evaluation? Because this is one of the latest bye weeks I think this team has had in week 14.
Right, and I think really what's given us an opportunity is really just evaluate from really the Thursday night game to now. And that is something that we can look at and gain from, because I really believe, because we've had an opportunity to really kind of refocus, kind of commit to running the football. We have a healthy Brian Robinson. We've got Antonio that's done a terrific job for us in terms of running the ball. And let's take a long look at how effective that has been for us as a whole, and not just on offense, on defense, but the team as a whole.
Once again, you've had to kind of adjust the offense because of injuries to the quarterback. Do you like where this identity of the offense have come, and how, what do you need to build on as you go towards this really important stretch to close out the regular season?
Well, I think some of the things that we're going to look at, obviously, is red zone. We've gotten down to the red zone, and we've split in terms of scoring touchdowns and kicking field goals, and you want to be on the other side. You want to kick, you want to score more touchdowns and kick field goals, and that's one of the things that we've got to take a nice long look at.
So Taylor Heineke comes on in, and this team's winning one way or another. They're finding a way to kind of get things done and move the ball. But you have had to kind of adjust your offense a little bit. Where are you in your evaluation of what he is doing and what you need more from him with?
Well, I think when you look at some of the things that he does in terms of moving the ball, getting the ball into that scoring position, one of the things that we got to do is we got to be a little bit better, a little more accurate with some of the throws down in the red zone. He's had some opportunities, he's made great decisions, and sometimes he's been a little bit high with the ball, or a little wide with the ball. And then other times he's been spot on. So just a little more consistency in terms of hitting your target. But again, you can't fault the fact that the young man gets us to where we need to go, makes the plays when we need to have those made. That's what I think really is his forte, is that he has that sense of when things need to be done, and he does them.
Well, you do want better conversion rates once you're in the red zone. You want the touchdown, not just the field goals. You can afford to have a little bit of grace with that area and that side of the ball because of what the defense is doing. How are you in what you're getting from the defense and how they're kind of playing together?
Well, I think one of the things that you really appreciate is the way that we win the field position battle on a regular basis, pretty consistent in terms of being able to keep a team back, hold them back on their side of the 50, and then get a couple turnovers at the right spot, put us in scoring position. The last turnover we got against the Giants put us in scoring position. We were able to get a field goal out of it. And again, that's a huge plus for what you're doing in terms of the offense and defense is concerned.
You know, a lot of talk about trying to go really deep into the season and into the postseason is the health of your team.
Yes.
You did suffer a loss on the offensive line, an injury. You've got a couple of guys trying to come back. Chase Young, we're still waiting for his return. Where are you in the health-wise of this team?
Well, we did lose Tyler Larson, who came in and played center for us. Tyler was our fourth center we've used this year, but we get Wes Schweitzer back. Wes was on IR, after the concussion, and he worked himself back. We activated him last week. He played in the game because of the ankle injury that Sam Cosme had. Sam doesn't look as bad as we first initially thought. We look like we might get Sam back for next week, so that would be a huge boost to the offensive line, and plus adding Wes Schweitzer back.
Okay, so you had the Giants, the Giants again. In these two games, everybody was saying just how important they are in the NFC East. But you go to the bye on a tie. It's not a loss, but what is the message to the team when that's what they have to go away with for a week, understanding now even how much more important when you see them again is?
Well, the biggest thing is, what will we learn from this game? What will we learn from the tie, okay? We learned a little bit about our opponent, learned a little bit about ourselves, some things that we got to correct. Let's correct those things as we go forward. But we can anticipate a little bit better of what to expect from who we're playing.
A lot of folks, a lot of guys saying either upset over the tie, you want to be able to end in a win or a loss. Do you agree that the league has ties, or should there be like a kickoff, a throw off? Like, what do we need to do?
Well, I think at this time in the season, I think the tie is fine.
Okay.
You move on from it because, again, that half game will make a difference. I've been part of a team that had in 2014 had a tie, and that was the difference between us getting the playoffs and not.
Now, while Coach heads over to join Logan in the film room, let's talk a little bit about this Commanders defense. The unit has been lights out for most of the season, led up front by Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne. Now, Washington's defense sacked Daniel Jones 4 times last week and held Saquon Barkley to 63 yards rushing. The group has been dealing with injuries to Cole Holcomb and Benjamin St-Juste, and of course are awaiting the return of Chase Young. Well, here's a look at the numbers the defense has put up so far this season. They have held the Giants to 316 total yards. The 7th straight game the Commanders have held an opponent under 350 total yards. They had 4 sacks Sunday, reaching a total of 34 so far in the season, which is 9th most in the NFL. For some insight into that defense, let's send it over to Coach and Logan in the film room. It is presented by Mavenspire. Ransomware goes 3 and out with Mavenspire's Smart as a Service cybersecurity offerings. Learn more at mavenspire.com. Logan, Coach, take it away.
Coach, always tough coming in on a tie. Kind of a weird thing to come in on a tie, right?
Yep.
But the defense and the offense both did some good things, or hopefully we're going to highlight some of that stuff today. The first thing is, I think the defense did an excellent job. We're just going to fast forward through this real quick. On the keeper game, that was something that they were going to do, right? And I think you guys did an excellent job making adjustments. So let's talk about some of those adjustments. First, I like what FA does here in terms of getting vertical, keeping him from attacking the edge, right? And I like that you guys get to cover two, because one of the things about running this these keepers is you get easy flat throws. But in cover two, you have a player here, Kendall Fuller, in the flat that kind of takes it away right now. So talk about that adjustment and then why it's advantageous.
Well, for the most thing, one of the things that we had to do and had to understand is keeping him contained in the pocket. All right, some of the adjustments that Jack and his staff talked about at halftime was making sure that if you feel pressure in your 6 technique, you feel pressure, fight the pressure and try to get as vertical as you can to force the ball out of the quarterback's hands. That way he doesn't have the run-pass option. The quicker he releases the ball, or the quicker he decides to run, the quicker we can rally as a football team.
Because that was a little bit of a wrinkle that they brought in, right? They said, usually they kind of have a free runner off the edge, the defensive end block, but they said, we're going to block the defensive end. So that's something you guys had to kind of adjust to in game.
Exactly, and so one of the things that we talked about is if you're a 6 technique, you feel pressure, fight the pressure and get vertical. Nice job, great adjustment by the defensive staff.
Yeah, and then also, here we go, we got guys in the flat just doing their job, being where they're supposed to be. And that, again, takes away some of these throws. A keeper kind of, this, Coach, kind of shakes out like this, right? Up and out. 3-level throw, easy to match that up, and you guys did an excellent job of that.
Correct, they did, and one of the things that really happened, because again, as you said, if you force the throw, okay, look at this. He's trying to dig across, get the cross formation. If he sets his feet and has time, he has a big throw.
But you're right. Disrupting him, just an excellent adjustment, excellent people doing their jobs, and really kind of befuddled the Giants' offense. And offensively, Coach, that last drive was pretty fantastic. This was, again, something Taylor, here you're kind of running this, kind of a return routes by both these guys. They're not blocking, but that's the graphic I picked there. Could have maybe got the ball to Terry here, but making a play, Coach. Scrambling out, putting the ball down, and then obviously Curtis with the scramble rules making an excellent play.
And that's one of the things that our guys are very aware of with Taylor. Taylor can extend the play, give him, and if you give him an opportunity, he'll find somebody. And the biggest thing here, Curtis knows that, hey, quarterback goes this direction, I got to work back towards that sideline.
Right, and then one thing Fred Smoot pointed out to me is this DB's got bad eyes here, Coach.
Yes.
He thinks he's going to get a pick, and that allows Curtis to kind of get out here and make a play. But Coach, I mean, we got to talk about the throw a little bit. I mean, for a guy who doesn't have the strongest arm in the world, for him to be running this way, open up, get back with the ball, like, holy cow, Coach, I don't know. Could you do that?
You know what's amazing is if you go back and you look from the time he was a sophomore in college at Old DU, he did the same exact thing. Yeah. Yes, he does.
I mean, that's a heck of a. I mean, look at that body position, right?
Yes,
like that's elite stuff right there.
It is
great to see that kind of play from him, and what a huge play on 4th and 4 to get that done.
It was a big play.
And then this is maybe my favorite play of the whole season, right? And it's a great individual effort. You know the one I'm talking about.
Yes.
They get man coverage here by the Giants. They try to match up with your skill position guys. I think that's a dumb decision because you guys got some excellent skill position guys, especially with Jahan coming back. Jahan's right down here on the bottom. Love the little hesitation move versus outside coverage, freezes the defender's feet, gets into space, and then I don't care who you are, that's tough. I could do some stuff here with the ball, but Jahan's an elite player, and he's able to make make something really, really special happen.
And what you did say, this is really about an individual effort. The biggest thing is we clear the middle out so we can let him work. All right, we run our receiver Terry right through the middle. Okay. And now what happens is he's got this whole area in here to make his play, and that's exactly what he does.
Right, absolutely. And then, Coach, I mean, I've been watching football for a long time. A spin move like that's pretty special, Coach.
Yeah, that's a Houdini.
That's a Houdini move right there.
He can get out of anything. Houdini.
I mean, if this guy number 44 is probably having a rough day in meetings today, I'll tell you that.
Oh, he did.
But it's nice to have those types of skill position guys. And I know it comes in a tie, Coach, but great players make great plays. And here, let's take another look at this. Just catch, run, getting into space.
And probably one of the really nice things about this too is, look, again, this is late in the game, but look at the protection.
Yes, Coach, yes. Give those guys their props. That's a great pocket there. Allows him to kind of check front side, get back to the read over the ball. Easy opportunity. Love that. Coach, excited for the bye week, but some cool stuff to build off of moving into Giants round 2.
Most certainly, most certainly.
For everything you need to know about the team, do not miss our flagship show, Command Center. We have you covered all week, starting on Mondays with Fred Smoot and Logan Paulsen breaking down the highlights. Wednesdays, London Fletcher and Santana Moss take you onto the practice field for a close-up look at the team. And on Fridays, Santana and Logan are here to get you ready for game day. You can see every episode on our YouTube channel and on commanders.com. You can also check us out on NBC Sports Washington weekdays at 5:30 and 10 p.m. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, Coach and Logan are going to review some of the game tape from the Commanders' offense this season. Some pretty good stuff to take into the last 4 games. And a little later, Coach Rivera and I are looking back at his winning legacy and discuss where the team stands heading into the bye week. You're watching Command Center, Coach Commands with Ron Rivera, presented by your local Honda dealer. Welcome back. It is time for some healthy competition presented by Ortho Virginia, the official orthopedic and sports medicine partner of the Washington Commanders. So here's a look at the healthy competition remaining on the Commander schedule after the bye week. Sunday night football, and of course the players are saying they want you all there at FedEx Field. And then Christmas Eve, they have a trip out to California to take on the 49ers. That's going to be a short trip, a short week. And then on January 1st, New Year's Day, we got the Cleveland Browns at home. And we're still waiting to see if it's January 7th or 8th to close out the season against the Cowboys. Just 4 games remain on the schedule after the bye week, and all are going to be incredibly important to Coach Rivera and the Commanders as they look to lock up a playoff berth. Now, there's plenty of game tape to go over and a lot of positives to build off from the first part of the season, which is exactly what Logan and Coach Rivera are doing. This is the Rivera Review, presented by DC Prime. All stakes are not created equal.
Coach, obviously bye week this week, so I thought this was a good opportunity to go back and look at some things that the offense has done really well, specifically in the Atlanta game. I thought there was some really fun stuff. And this first play is B-Rob's touchdown, a little swing pass off of a mesh concept. And the Atlanta Falcons are in quarters coverage. And why is mesh So good. And what is mesh and why is it good versus quarters?
Well, the biggest thing we talk about in running certain routes, specific routes, is they got to match what they're playing. Here we're down here, and we're in a 2-by-2 formation. We know that there is a quote-unquote mesh concept, but what we're going to do is we're going to try and overload the mesh concept in terms of how we run it. So in this particular instance, we're going to run it dragging 2 guys from our right to our left.
The tight ends here at the bottom.
Correct, and we're going to bring 1 receiver across. So what's going to happen is we are basically attacking the 3 underneath guys. But we're going to attack them with 4 guys.
Yes.
So what will happen is as the concept unfolds, and the DBs go into their drop, they're playing 4 over 3. And because they're playing 4 over 3, that means that those guys are going to get a minimum 12 to 18 yards depth by the time the ball's thrown.
You're talking about the back line here,
Correct, the back line, because again, as you pointed out, they're in quarters. So what's happened is by attacking the underneath coverage, the 3 guys, we get an opportunity to have them matched up on 3 different players. And we're going to add a 4th to the mix, and that's B-Rob swinging out. And because of that, there is no answer for Brian, and he's going to be left alone.
And so how do you get to this, Coach? Is this through film studies, this understanding they like to run quarters in the red zone, or is this kind of like,
Yes, through film study, you'll come out and you'll look and say, hey, they're a quarters team, they're a half team, they're a man team, they're a pressure team. And based on that, that's how you game plan. You say, okay, we're going to anticipate this. Now, the problem is sometimes you may anticipate something and be wrong, so your route combinations have to have some sort of quote-unquote fail-safe. Hey, we want to run this route just in case they're in quarters. But if they're in man, we want to have another route that works for mesh is one of those. Mesh can be good basically for any coverage, for the most part, because if you're playing cover 2, you're still attacking the same 3 guys underneath. If they're in quarters, you're still attacking the same 3 guys underneath. If they're in cover 3, you're still attacking the same guys underneath. So
the same kind of core of the defense.
Correct. The only problem with mesh, though, is it's not a route combination designed for chunk play. So in this instance, down in the red zone, it's a good concept. Why? Because, again, it's going to attack what we think they're doing. Because, again, we felt that they would play quarters, we felt they would play cover 2, and we felt they would play 1 man. Mesh is good for all 3. It's better versus quarters. It's better versus 1. But it's not quite as good against 2 because you have the corners now on the outside.
They're underneath. There's more underneath defenders in cover 2.
And they're flat. So they're staying to the flat, and they can react a little bit quicker. Here, what happens on this particular play, the quarter corner on the left side of their defense, he's got to respond because if that tight end runs a 7 route,
a corner route,
he's got to play that route. So he's getting ready for that. He's not quite aware that B-Rob, as a swing player, is in position to catch the ball with a lot of room between he and B-Rob. There's going to be a high-impact collision.
High-impact collision for sure. And also one of the things I like how you're running mesh here, Coach, is how the tight end is inside releasing this underneath hook player to get him to condense his responsibility, right?
Correct.
You can't get wide on Terry. You can't get wide with B-Rob because Logan Thomas is attacking the inside shoulder there. And it creates this huge space down here at the bottom in addition to the vertical stem, which affects the corner.
And the thing about it, too, is the 3 linebackers that are dropping are responsible for 2-3-2. In other words, whoever becomes number 2, whoever becomes number 3, and whoever becomes number 2 on the other side, that's who they have. And as you look at this example, they're responsible for, the wide receiver coming underneath, the 2 tight ends that are working the middle.
That's great.
So what happens is B-Rob actually becomes the new number 1 down here, and on the vertical, he's the responsibility of the corner. And as I said, look at the distance between the 2 of them. It's a great decision by Taylor. He gets the ball to B-Rob in a hurry. B-Rob turns it up, and now it's a one-on-one collision.
And I think we all know how this turns out, Coach. When a guy's 230 going against a guy who's 185 pounds, that's a tough deal, right?
It is a very tough deal.
Coach, always enjoy talking to you. Learn so much every time. Thanks, Coach. Really appreciate it.
All righty.
Hats off to this deal. Get a ticket to the Giants and Commanders game at FedEx Field and receive a limited edition Love Your Melon beanie starting at just $65. We want to see you for Sunday Night Football, 8:20 p.m. on the 18th. Visit commanders.com/loveyourmelon to purchase yours today. Now keep it here because after the break, Coach is back with me in the studio to evaluate where his team stands right now with 4 important games left on the schedule. That is next here on Coach Commands with Ron Rivera, presented by your local Honda dealer. time for a winning legacy presented by the Maryland Lottery. Play fast, win fast with new Fast Play games from the Maryland Lottery. Today we are flashing back to a guy who definitely has a winning legacy here in Washington, and that is Brian Mitchell. On December 6, 1998, B. Mitch took this kickoff from the Chargers 101 yards to the house, helping to lead Washington to the 24-20 win in that one. B. Mitch was such an electric player in the return game, which is why many think he should have a place in Canton. Okay, Coach Rivera, you don't get dynamic return guys like that very often, but man, it's fun to watch, and especially when you know somebody can make a play on special teams.
Oh, most certainly. And I've been fortunate. I've been around two of the more dynamic ones, Devin Hester and Brian Mitchell. And I think Brian was the prelude to who Devin became. And a guy like that deserves his shot. I mean, I think both those guys deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, to be quite honest. I think B. Mitch is one of the guys that should, just because of his numbers, his impact on the football field, and how a guy like him could change the game on a basic play, a kickoff. He makes it dynamic. And like I said, I think he was one of the preludes to what Devin Hester did.
And they did it often as well. I know Antonio Gibson said he feels like he's close to being able to do that, wants to return one as well. It's been a while for Washington since we've had that, so maybe AG is coming up and due soon for that. Okay, it's the bye week. What are you wanting your guys to do spending this time?
Well, I think starting with the coaches, what I want to just get an opportunity to take a look, evaluate what we've done. You know, we had a little bit of a break after our Thursday night game with the Bears, and we did a little bit of evaluation right then. But now is an opportunity to take another step back, take a little bit of evaluation. I know the offensive, defensive coach is going to look at a couple specific areas as we are in special teams. But then I want the players to get away from football for a while, take a few days off, enjoy themselves, relax, take care of their bodies, take care of their mental frame of mind, and then come back ready to do it, because we've got a nice big 4-game stretch that's very important.
Very, very, very important. A lot of guys were saying this is actually maybe coming at a good time, because in their heads they are already planning on playing well beyond the regular season, so get their bodies right for what's hopefully going to be playing well into January. Okay? Yes. Coach, enjoy your bye week, and everybody, thank you for joining us on Coach Commands.